What's up everybody, Joe Everest, the fence expert. Welcome to another update to the video reaction series. Before we get into this week's video, remember, if you find the video helpful or educational, entertaining at all, it would mean the world to us if you gave it a like. Also, if you're new here, consider subscribing and don't forget to hit that bell so that YouTube will let you know each and every week as we have new content ready for you. All right, with that being said, let's dig into it. This is Joe Everest, the fence expert. My family's been perfecting their way of building fence for over 60 years, 3 generations. While there's more than one way to build a fence, I'm here to share with you our way. All right, so the first video we have is titled How to Remove a Fence Post in Under 5 Minutes Without Digging. This would be interesting to see. We have a method we use without digging. I'd be interested to see how close our two methods are.
This is an instructional video of how to remove a fence post with concrete the easy way. And I say the easy way because you can see over here has some pretty good success. I've seen some videos where you've got to dig. We don't want to be...
First thought is, those posts don't have just a whole lot of concrete on them. So I wonder if all of his posts are that way. It doesn't make a difference to the method, I'm sure, but you would want to consider if you've... Usually posts have considerably more concrete around them when we're pulling them up out of the ground.
Digging. I've seen some videos where there's, chain and hooks and all that. This requires none of that, and I've had pretty good success. So let's begin.
So our method, in all honesty, does include chain and hooks. So so maybe it's not as close to mine as I thought.
Yeah. So first off, you want to build a jig of some kind, and I put 2 2x4s together. It can be one. All you need is just a surface to put on your tractor jack right here. So this is the thing that gets...
Okay, so our method does have a tractor jack, so somewhat similar so far.
Gets the job done. Other videos have this. I found that this is actually one of the best ways, of course. And this is just a high lift jack. I bought this at Harbor Freight for about $50. I got a 25% off coupon, which knocked it down below $40. I think it's something that's well...
So a little tip here. If you get one of these jacks from Harbor Freight, I would recommend getting the extended warranty. Costs just a little bit more, but what we found is the pins, when you're putting it under force, the pins shear really easily, after quite a bit of use. So go ahead and get the warranty on that, because usually the pins will break.
Worth it for this job and probably others as well. All right, so all we're trying to do is we're going to attach a lip to your fence post here to get the jack under it. I put 2 of these together. You can probably get away with 1. Now the bolts I'm going to use to attach this need to be pretty high strength. This is an 8" by 1/2" bolt. You can probably get away with less, but there's a lot of pressure on this. So you got to make sure it holds tight. So first thing you do is you want to just put the hole anywhere. Doesn't matter where. Just somewhere in the middle. And by the way, this is a 5/8" bit. It's slightly larger than the 1/2". Works pretty well. All right. So
what I'm seeing here too, you saw that post move quite a lot. I almost wonder, so it's probably because there's not a lot of concrete around it. I was going to say, I'm wondering if that's because it rots. One problem we have a lot when we're trying to pull posts out is if the post is rotten, the post breaks, and you're left with a lump of concrete in the ground without anything to pull it up with. I've got a tip for that too. Let me see what his method is, and we'll talk about that.
You got your jig, or whatever you want to call it. And actually, you can see this is a mistake. I actually put it a little bit low, okay? So, put it a little bit higher. Put the bolt in, that way it keeps it nice and straight. Do another pilot hole Right in there. Okay, drop it down. Finish it. All right, and then you want to finish it off. A washer and nut on the other side. This keeps it nice and secure because you're going to put a lot of pressure on it. You do not need to torque this down, just put it finger tight. Because this is just temporary, of course. Let's put this one on. Now some of the videos have chain, and the reason why you got to dig is so you have something to grab onto. What I found is you put that on, you don't have to worry about digging or anything. And by the way, this is North Carolina, so you got a lot of red clay. There's a lot of concrete in this thing, and works pretty well. So let's lower it, raise the jack.
Okay, so our methods are pretty similar. I'm not sure about the chain videos he was referring to about having to dig down. So what we would typically do, take the same style of jack, take a chain, wrap it around the base of the wood post, usually a couple times, hook it to itself, and then the other part of that chain would just attach to what he's attaching to this lip. And then as the jack raises, it lifts the chain, pulls the post up. Typically the chain's got enough bite on a wood post that it's not going to be an issue. If it does slip, sometimes what we would do is take a lag bolt through and just give it something to bite into, give it a little extra support. This method works really well. I mean, let's follow it through, but I don't see any problem with it.
Gauge it, and let's get going. See what happens.
You know, the only issue, if I were to find an issue with it, the only issue is it's putting a lot of pressure on one side of the post. You can see it's kind of leaning that post over. I would worry about long term if it's going to affect, if that post does have rod in it, is it going to kick that post over? Is it going to break that post? I mean, it's hard to tell. If you have a chain wrapped around the base, it's more pulling it straight up. I mean, obviously there's going to be a little bit more force on one side than the other, but it would probably have less leaning force than this method. But like I said, I like the method a lot for sure.
All right, so I can probably stop here. Watch out for that. And there you go.
Yeah, so it's a good method. I mean, it obviously worked for him. You could do that. You could use it, like I said, we use a chain around the base of it. I mean, they obviously both accomplish the same task. You know, they get the post out of the ground without having to dig around it, which is ultimately the goal. The reason I like the chain a little bit more too, so what happens if the post is rotting and you break it off? Well, we already have the chain attached to the jack. If we take a concrete anchor, hammer drill into the concrete, attach a concrete anchor to the chain, now we pull up that slug of concrete too. So, you know, maybe it's a little bit more robust of a method, I don't know. I like this method. I like the way he's doing it. Like I said, if you've got a post you're wanting to pull up without having to dig around it, using a jack method is obviously a really good place to start.
All right, guys, I appreciate you making it all the way to the end of the video. If you found the video helpful or enjoyable, be sure to give it a like. And also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so the YouTube sends you a notification each and every week when we have new content uploaded and available for you. But for now, I'm Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you that good fences make good neighbors.